Oh, and fun fact, the plastic-faced vampire is now working hand in hand with Trump, pushing the same tools under a shiny new narrative of progress and safety. As if the Oracle logo wasn't ominous enough, let's revisit the man behind it all, Larry Ellison. This is the guy who, in the chaotic aftermath of 9/11, pitched a biometric national ID system to the federal government, offering to gift wrap the software for free. A real humanitarian, right? Never mind that he was already in bed with the CIA developing databases under the codename Oracle. Fast forward to today, and he's playing puppet master once again, this time with a $500 billion data infrastructure partnership with Donald Trump, pushing solutions that sound a lot like tools for mass surveillance. Remember, this is the same Ellison who predicted that modern technology would turn the world into a giant surveillance state where everyone's on their best behavior, because Big Brother is always watching. Back then, civil liberty groups called him out. Today, they're probably just exhausted from saying, "We told you so." But hey, according to his pal Alan Dershowitz, it's all good. Civil libertarians will come around eventually. Well, they haven't. So Larry Ellison, the man seemingly always at the center of some dystopian tech fantasy, has been cooking up schemes for decades. Back in 2001, fresh off the tragedy of 9/11, Ellison proposed a national biometric ID system tied to a federal database. You heard that right, people, complete with digitized fingerprints and photos. And because nothing screams altruism like free surveillance tools, he even offered to hand over the software to the government at no cost. Yeah, that's not shady at all. Think about it. This was the same guy who years earlier developed databases for the CIA under a project codenamed Oracle. Fast forward to today, and he's back at it, now armed with a $500 billion partnership with Donald Trump, building massive data infrastructures that critics have called a technology of social control. Ellison has been setting the stage for this techno-authoritarian dream for decades, and civil liberties, oh, those are just speed bumps to him. He wants to get rid of them. Even legal celebrity Alan Dershowitz chimed in back then, reassuring the masses that civil libertarians will come around. Well, they didn't. And check this photo right here, an article from 2001 where the New York Post reports on Ellison's pitch for a U.S. biometric ID card system in the wake of 9/11. His vision included creating a database to ensure travelers' identities would be verified before boarding flights, a move that sparked a lot of controversy back then among civil liberties advocates. The second photo here, which highlights Ellison's early career, revealing his deep ties to intelligence agencies like the CIA. His first major project, once again a database codenamed Oracle, developed for the agency, which set the foundation for his future in building systems designed for large-scale data tracking and control. It's almost poetic how the manufactured chaos at the southern border has become the perfect excuse for a new wave of biometric surveillance neatly wrapped in border security rhetoric.
Number 8. We will finally complete the biometric entry-exit visa tracking system, which we need desperately. For years, Congress has required biometric entry-exit visa tracking systems, but it has never been completed. The politicians are all talk, no action, never happens. In my administration, we will ensure that this system is in place. And I will tell you, it will be on land, it will be on sea, it will be in air. We will have a proper tracking system.
After everything Trump's been up to lately, like pouring funding into AI that will conveniently install biometric tracking systems, I mean, it's not hard to see the bigger picture playing out here. This isn't just about building walls or stopping illegal crossings. This is about laying down the foundation for a surveillance state disguised as protecting the nation. And the beauty of it, both Trump and Biden were playing into this. They were playing their roles perfectly in this bipartisan theater. While one side riles up the right-wing base with cries of invasion, the other reassures the left that it's all about safety and progress, two sides of the same coin. This isn't new though. Back in 2019, Trump was already pitching smart walls. That's right, smart walls with sensors and drones as the modern day solution, shifting away from the physical barriers he once championed. Now, with the help of companies like Anduril, run by Palmer Luckey and heavily backed by Peter Thiel, the border has become a testing ground for autonomous surveillance towers, drones, and AI-driven systems that monitor, track, and even predict movement. This reminds me of the one checkpoint in Gaza with an AI machine gun. Real dystopian stuff here. These tools, sold under the guise of border protection, are conveniently scalable for broader surveillance purposes. And let's not forget Elon Musk's contributions, whether it's through SpaceX satellites or AI systems being integrated with surveillance infrastructure. He's as much part of this web as the rest of them. This is why he's jumping for joy, awkwardly. Of course, the border crisis isn't unique to Americans either. This is a global agenda. There's a global push for biometric borders, digital IDs, and surveillance-driven policies, and this is in full effect right now. The UN's Agenda 2030 and its Sustainable Development Goals are laying out the blueprint with all of these nations jumping on board. Biometric systems, digital IDs, and even centralized digital currencies are being rolled out globally, all under the guise of progress. The European Union is already implementing biometric entry systems, and the US isn't far behind, with the Real ID system set to go live in 2025. And I believe here in Canada, they announced our digital ID system will be installed around the same time, either this year or next year. It's crazy that they're laying the groundwork right now for this. These aren't isolated policies. They're all interconnected pieces of a larger puzzle here. Think back to the Club of Rome book. Crazy part is these smart walls and biometric systems aren't just about borders. They're creeping into the interior of all countries, extending surveillance capabilities far beyond the border lines. In the US, for example, the so-called Constitution-Free Zone, which spans 100 miles inland from all borders, conveniently covers about 2/3 of the population. The surveillance tools deployed at the border are more than capable of monitoring Americans far away from any actual crossing point. And with the ongoing erosion of civil liberties, it's only a matter of time before this tech is used in ways it wasn't officially intended. But what's really insidious here is how they've managed to sell this to both sides of the political spectrum. To the right, it's all about stopping the invasion. To the left, it's framed as an ethical, tech-driven solution to border security. Meanwhile, companies like Anduril rake in massive contracts, and the Thiel-backed ventures like Palantir and Clearview AI test their dystopian surveillance systems abroad, only to bring them home for domestic use. And don't even get me started on how seamlessly all of this integrates into the growing global surveillance network. Everything from digital IDs to carbon tracking systems is being linked together in one massive web of control. You can't see what's happening with Trump trying to be the head demon in charge of the AI psyop? If only they had a convenient event to justify tracking every single thing people post on platforms like ChatGPT, right? Oh wait, would you look at that? A Cybertruck explodes at a Trump tower just before he takes office. And the guy who did it allegedly used ChatGPT to plan it all. How perfectly timed. Meanwhile, on Bill Gates' website, there's a line that says digital IDs are an effective tool against poverty. Because, nothing says lifting people out of poverty like linking their every transaction to a centralized control system. And don't forget, even though Trump is out here claiming to outlaw CBDCs, that means absolutely nothing. Okay, there was a time where they said vaccine passports are just a conspiracy theory. You'd be insane to think they would implement something like that. Bonnie Henry was on TV laughing at the idea, saying, well, that's so stupid. That would just make the virus spread faster. The imaginary virus. And then she came out 1 week later saying, yeah, they're going to install some vaccine passport system. That's how fast things change. They will backtrack on everything they say when the psyops ramp up. Problem, reaction, solution. They tell the masses what they want to hear to keep them calm and then do the exact opposite once the pieces are in place. It all tracks perfectly. Just 2 years ago, the Gates Foundation committed $200 million to digital ID and other public infrastructure projects. Fast forward 3 years, and Gates is frankly impressed with Trump in meetings about vaccines and AI. Gates and Trump, people, teaming up with AI tech leaders who are laser focused on pushing digital IDs. I mean, come on. They're paving the way for a surveillance state under the guise of innovation and security. The border crisis, the exploding trucks, the digital IDs, it's all just a coordinated act in this dystopian playbook.